The Resident Evil film series, helmed by Paul W.S. Anderson, continued its own unique path with the fourth installment of Afterlife, further diverging from the source material and generating mixed reactions and dissatisfaction from fans of the games. While the film strayed significantly from the established game canon, they cultivated their own dedicated following, intrigued by the action-packed spectacle and the evolving storyline, and eager to see how Anderson would expand upon the universe he had created. In this video, we'll delve into some fascinating fun facts and behind-the-scenes secrets about this movie. We'll explore the challenges faced by the filmmakers, from a devastating studio fire to the innovative use of 3D technology. We'll also uncover interesting tidbits about the cast, such as Wentworth Miller's unexpected connection to his character and the surprising origin of some of the film's most iconic creatures. So get ready for a deeper dive into the making of Resident Evil Afterlife and uncover some surprising facts that may even surprise die-hard fans of the franchise. And a usual reminder before we begin of major spoilers that will be included in this video. During the filming, Milla Jovovich accidentally shot out a $100,000 camera. This happened during a sequence where her character Alice walks through an airplane graveyard and encounters Claire Redfield. A round discharged by Jovovich's prop gun fired straight into one of the cameras, causing significant damage. The filmmakers behind Resident Evil Afterlife were all set to start filming in a massive Toronto studio. However, just one day before they were supposed to begin, the entire studio tragically caught fire and burned to the ground. This unexpected disaster forced them to completely rethink their plans. They had to quickly find a new location to film, which likely caused significant delays and budget adjustments. Wentworth Miller, known for playing Michael Scofield in the TV show Prison Break, found himself in a somewhat ironic situation during the filming of Resident Evil Afterlife, as his character Chris Redfield also finds himself in a prison-like situation, and his first lines in the movie involve him knowing a way out. He jokingly acknowledged the coincidence, highlighting how both characters share this initial trait of knowing an escape route despite their vastly different circumstances. Ollie Larder made a significant commitment to appear in Resident Evil Afterlife by missing 7 episodes of her ongoing TV show Heroes. This decision highlights the importance of the film role to her career, as well as the potential challenges actors face when balancing multiple projects. The filmmakers paid homage to the beloved video game character Claire Redfield by giving her a signature look. In the movie, Claire wears a red vest, a classic and iconic piece of her attire from the video game series. This nod to her original design helps connect the film to its source material and visually establishes Claire's identity for fans of the games. The movie features bizarre creatures with the flower-like mouths called Magini, which are directly inspired by the video game Resident Evil 5. The Magini in the game are created by a parasitic organism, not the T-virus. This parasite, which was developed by Umbrella's rival company Tricell, is similar to the Las Plagas parasite from Resident Evil 4. However, the movie doesn't explain how these creatures come to be, leaving their origins a bit of a mystery. While not explicitly stated in the final film, the original script confirms that even after Wesker injects Alice, her body continues to actively fight off the effects of the antibodies. This suggests that her unique genetic makeup, enhanced by the T-virus, allows her to maintain her physical abilities and strength, highlighting her exceptional resilience and unique position within the Resident Evil universe. The filmmakers drew inspiration from the video game Resident Evil 5 for some of the film's key elements. In addition to the Magini enemies, the Scarab devices used to track and control the survivors, which is also seen on Jill Valentine, as well as the imposing figure of the giant Axeman, are both directly taken from the game. This borrowing from the game's visual and thematic elements was intended to provide and instill the connection between the film and its source material, offering a familiar experience for fans of the video game series. The filmmakers initially planned to include short flashbacks to provide more context for the relationship between Chris and Claire Redfield. These flashbacks would have included Claire's search for Chris, a significant storyline aspect in the video games. In the games, Claire travels to Raccoon City in Resident Evil 2 to find her brother, but their reunion doesn't happen until Resident Evil Code Veronica. Unfortunately, the idea of including these flashbacks in the film was ultimately abandoned, leaving some aspects of their sibling dynamic unexplored in the film. The movie starts by showing us how the T-virus outbreak first began in Japan, specifically in Shibuya, Tokyo. This scene takes place years before the main story of the film, giving us a glimpse into the early days of the apocalypse. We see the chaos and destruction as the virus spreads, helping us understand the scale of the disaster that has unfolded in the world. Sean Roberts was initially set to audition for the role of Chris Redfield. However, Wentworth Miller was ultimately cast in the role, and Roberts ultimately landed the role of Albert Wesker, a character previously portrayed by Jason O'Mara in Resident Evil Extinction. The opening scene features a sniper saying, "Biohazard terminated," in Japanese after killing a zombie. This is a subtle nod to the fact that the Resident Evil series is known as Biohazard in Japan. It's a small detail that might go unnoticed by casual viewers, but it's a nice touch for fans of the games who are familiar with the series' original Japanese title. The original script included an extended scene after the helicopter crash in Tokyo, where Alice would search through the wreckage and find Albert Wesker's body seemingly lifeless. She would then shoot him multiple times to make sure he's dead. However, in a shocking twist, Wesker's body would start to heal itself and even begin to develop the grotesque Majini mouth. This is the only film in the Resident Evil series to feature Chris Redfield, a prominent character from the video games, which is ironic considering that Chris is a major figure in the games, appearing as a playable character in many of the main series titles. Boris Kojo, known for his role as Luther West, dedicated 6 weeks to rigorous training to perform many of his own stunts. Unfortunately, his dedication led to a serious injury when he dislocated his knee while attempting a particularly challenging stunt. The movie features a powerful BOW that wields a massive axe. While the film refers to this creature as the Axeman, in the video game Resident Evil 5, these types of enemies are actually called executioners. The filmmakers initially considered casting Jensen Ackles as Leon Kennedy for Resident Evil Afterlife. However, negotiations with Ackles ultimately fell through. The introduction of Leon Kennedy into the film series was not abandoned though, as he was finally introduced in the subsequent film Resident Evil Retribution, with Johan Erb portraying the role. Paul W.S. Anderson has a strong connection to the Resident Evil film series. He has written the screenplay for all of the films, starting with the first installment. Additionally, he has directed 2 of the movies, making him the only director to helm multiple entries in the franchise. This dedication stems from his experience with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, a film he was not involved with but found deeply disappointing. This experience motivated him to stay involved with the Resident Evil series, so that he could be responsible for how future movies turned out. The filmmakers were inspired by the groundbreaking 3D visuals in James Cameron's Avatar. This inspired director Paul W.S. Anderson to embrace 3D technology for his own film. To ensure they effectively utilized this new format, the entire crew dedicated 2 weeks to intensive training. They learned the intricacies of operating the 3D camera system, understanding how to create a truly immersive experience for the audience. The decision to film in 3D, however, presented some unique challenges for the filmmakers. As the 3D cameras were significantly heavier and bulkier than traditional cameras, making it impossible to use a Steadicam rig for smooth, fluid camera movements. To overcome this obstacle, the camera operators utilized a Segway. This innovative solution allowed for dynamic tracking shots and smooth movement while accommodating the increased weight of the 3D equipment, ensuring the film maintained its desired visual style despite the technological limitations. The decision to film in 3D also increased the production costs significantly. The specialized 3D cameras and the necessary equipment and techniques added an extra 20% to the overall budget of the film. This highlights the considerable financial investment required to produce a 3D movie, as filmmakers must account for the additional resources and technical expertise needed to capture and present the film in this format. And that's all for part 1 of our deep dive into Resident Evil Afterlife. We've covered the movie's basic connections to the games, explored some of the key characters, and even touched on the film's visual style. But there's so much more to unpack. In part 2, we'll be diving even deeper with more fun facts and hidden details you probably missed. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more movie breakdowns and geeky goodness. And don't forget to share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on the fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.